And we are live now. Hello, Brandon Yאנג. Good evening. Good afternoon.
Good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you as well. I'm great. I just want to check, first of all, if the broadcast is on air in our Amazon non-stop group. So I just want to see if people can see us and respond to us in the chat of the broadcast. Let's do it for a second. Yeah. I can see us, dear audience, dear viewers. If you see us and you hear us, you can write something nice on the chat, as you do it all the time. And in a few minutes, we will start our broadcast. Brandon, thank you first of all for cleaning your schedule and for joining to us tonight. We heard that you have like game-changing software. And to be honest, I didn't went too deep to understand what's going on there. I prefer to be like a regular viewer tonight and to study everything from the beginning with you. So I know that amazing presentation waiting for us, and as well I know that you will be performing here a lot in the next days. So welcome to Amazon Nonstop Group. Tomorrow, as our audience already know, you will be appearing in little bit different concept in the club of Amazon Nonstop with Nirave, which is watching us now and writing that everything is perfect. So good evening, Amazon Nonstop. Brandon, how are you?
Doing great. I appreciate you having me. It's definitely a pleasure to give some value to your group and to hopefully maybe the people watching can learn something. It's not just about DataDive and what DataDive can do for the community, but more about hopefully sharing some knowledge.
Great. So we always like to get some new and some innovations and some new informations in our industry. So thank you for that. And I believe that we have enough viewers. So it's a good time to start our broadcast. I see some people on the chat responding to us. Here is Hanit, the first lady of the group. Hanit, tonight, okay, Brandon disappeared. איבדנו את ברנדון, תכף הוא יחזור אלינו. אוקיי. אני מנסה להבין אם זה אני, או... הנה, ברנדון חזר אלינו. Brandon disappeared.
I hit the login button so I could see who was commenting, and it took me away from the stream. I apologize. I didn't know that would happen.
Okay. Usually, all the technical issues coming from my side. So tonight was the first time that it came from the guest side.
That was my first magic act. I had some time to spend with Tomer, and he was. We went to a magic show together, and he's very good as a magician.
With Tomer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a lot of Tomers in the industry. So
that's
which one?
True. There's probably quite a few.
Sorry?
Yeah, there's probably quite a few.
Okay, so Brandon, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. So we're ready to start, I believe now. So first of all, before we see your presentation and before we will start to talk about your software, me and the audience who is not familiar with you yet, we would like to hear a little bit more about yourself. What are you doing? And you can tell from the professional side and from the personal side.
Yeah, I actually have a slide on that too. So I mean,
okay, so let's start with the presentation.
I can jump in and then I can do that. How about that? Let's see.
Okay, great. So meanwhile, I'm getting the correct information about the right Tomer in the group. So
Tomer Rabinovich.
Tomer Rabinovich, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's quite the magician. Very world class. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today I really want to talk to you guys about how Amazon's algorithm works, because I think there's a lot of confusion around it, and people have a fear of getting too complicated. But the ranking is pretty straightforward, and we've managed to solve it with a lot of data and a lot of information. throughout the last, 6 years or so, my wife and I have launched well over 500 products on Amazon. And we've experimented with many different ways to write listings, to drive traffic. And throughout the years, Amazon has changed what works, what doesn't work, and how the algorithm values ranking. So even what I'm going to share with you today might change. But this is basically our current understanding of how it works and how to rank your products. So we're going to do a deep dive into Amazon SEO and the algorithm today. So a little bit about me. My wife and I started selling on Amazon in 2015, but we were selling wholesale and arbitrage. And in 2016, we launched our first private label brands. We still have those brands across a few accounts, and we should do over $25 million this year with our own brands. It's a unique position because I'm one of the few people teaching that is also selling. So when things happen, we're launching dozens of new products, as many as 10 to 25 products a month. And so when something changes or isn't working anymore, we usually know very quickly, and then we can teach about it. We started teaching through Seller Systems, our community, in 2018. We created some master classes, and then we created a mastermind. I always felt that it was better to learn in a community and to have the support of each other. So we want to give people a place to come and lean on each other for high-level support. I've won awards over the last few years from, most recently sponsored by Yale and Fortinet, the Seller Sessions live awards that they do every year, the Seller Awards. And we won Best Private Label Course, Best Private Label Consultant, Top Contributor. I've won quite a few awards. I own my product in research and optimization software that you mentioned earlier, which is DataDive. And I'm going to talk more about what that does, but I'm going to talk to you more about why it works and our understanding that went into building it. Basically, DataDive is just a much faster way to get to the same answer that we used to do manually, because we understand Amazon's algorithm. We understand how ranking works. We understand what data to look at. But before, you would have to spend hours to put it all together into spreadsheets so that you could extract the data. And now the software does it only in a few minutes. So it's much faster to use the software, but it's not something you have to use. In the inner circle, in our mastermind, we have over 1,000 members. We've run very few ads, if any, and it's all from just being adding value. And that's why I love to do presentations like today. I'm not pitching for you to join the inner circle. You're more than welcome to. We have an abundance mentality and a community that really gives. We have a lot of large sellers, over 300 7- and 8-figure sellers in our community. And, I have a large, following as well. But it's all from adding value like today. So as far as the algorithm, the most important things for you to remember are that you can't create demand on Amazon. So in other words, you have a set amount of traffic that is happening on Amazon. You have a lot of hundreds of millions of people that are shopping, and they are searching for specific products in many different ways. So you have to understand that it is a search engine, and many people will try to find the same product in many different ways. And that demand is what you should be thinking about, that is already existing. You shouldn't try to launch a brand new invention on Amazon because no one knows to search for it. And so as long as you understand that, then that's very important. The other thing is that you have to answer a very simple question. If you want to maybe create a new product, if you're considering launching a new product, or if you have a product and you want to make it better, you have to answer the question, how are my competitors getting their sales? And really, if you can answer that question for the best sellers, the 10, 15, 20 best sellers, and you can basically compile an entire list of all of the different ways those people are searching. So we talked about how it's a search engine and many people are searching many different ways. So if you look at all of the ways that your competitors are getting sales, some of them might be taking advantage of only a few keywords. Some of them are only taking advantage of half of the search volume or even less. But once you compile all of them and aggregate them all together into, and you put all the data together, then you can understand what the market is and the true market potential and how people are searching for that product. So that is the foundation for our research and our methods that have led to a lot of success for our own brands and for our students over the last 5 or 6 years. So today I want to talk about the ranking algorithm so that you guys have a clear understanding of how it works. And then we can talk about how you can use that knowledge to rank your products better. And so the algorithm looks at 4 things. It looks at the click-through rate. So, you know, it looks at the conversion rate, and it looks at the revenue your product drives, and it looks at the relevancy of the keyword. And now relevancy is far undervalued for a lot of people that sell on Amazon. And it remains a mystery for a lot of people, but I'm hoping to explain how relevancy works today, because relevancy to me is the key to being able to rank for products. You can establish relevancy based on how you write your listing. And sometimes that's all it takes to improve the performance of your listing. So we're going to talk about relevancy quite a bit. But the others are really just relative to your competition, right? Is your click-through rate better or worse than your competitors? Is your conversion rate better or worse? Is your revenue higher or lower? And back in the day, a few years ago, you used to be able to give away products at 99% off or free to rank your product. And so Amazon made revenue a little bit more important. And that helps balance too, because you might have a more expensive product that sells less often, but the revenue is still good. So it helps you to rank more expensive products too. But if you gave away 1,000 units at a penny, really all you're doing is generating $10 in revenue for Amazon, and they're not happy with that. So it doesn't work for ranking anymore. So you need to understand that these are also averages. It is not just one average for the history or the life of the product. That these averages of your click-through rate, your conversion rate, and your revenue are calculated many, many times. And each time that they're calculated, they are given different weights. So if I can explain that in a way, you might have your click-through rate over the last 3 days, your click-through rate over the last 7 days, average, your click-through rate average over the last 15 days, your click-through rate average over the last 30 days, and then 3 months, 6 months, and so on. And the newer averages are weighted heavier. So the most recent performance matters more. But we see that a lot of people have old listings that they try to improve, and they are unable to do so very quickly. And the reason is because you have a lot of negative history. You have a lot of old averages that are not good, and you have to overcome that over time. You need to, even though the newer history is weighted heavier, you still have to wait until you've really impacted those older numbers too. And so that's why preserving your honeymoon at launch is very important. And that's why making changes very quickly and early when you launch, you can see the changes faster and it's more effective for newer listings. This is also why if you run out of stock for a long time, you have trouble ranking your product again, because you are establishing a lot of negative history when you're out of stock. So these are some of the questions and most common issues people face. And it all comes down to understanding the ranking algorithm to understand why you are having those issues, and then maybe how to prevent them in the future or how to do better in the future. So I want to move on to relevancy, and I'll get there now, which is, you know, we've created a term that we call ranking juice. And
Brandon, before you move on,
okay.
Somebody on the chat asked me if we could upload this presentation tomorrow on our group.
Yeah,
I can
send it to you. Yeah, happy to share it.
Okay, great. And of course, if anybody have some question, please feel free to ask question during the live stream. You already know how does it work, so feel free. I will forward the questions to Brandon.
Yeah, please interrupt anytime, for sure.
Right. Okay, so we're moving to the relevancy.
Yeah, and I want to talk about ranking juice and how it works and why we came up with this term. Basically, we had to create a quantifiable number for the ranking potential of your listing. And, we had to understand what is the maximum or the best opportunity to rank based on your performance and based on the keywords and based on how you write your listing. And so the ranking juice is basically the maximum ranking potential of your listing based on how you wrote it. And it's calculated based on the relevancy of the keyword, the broad search volumes of all of the root words within that keyword, and the match type of the keyword versus those bigger roots. So I want to explain why match type matters, and that's part of the algorithm, because Amazon needs to give credit, and I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. And I want to come back on screen just so people can see me and they can kind of understand the importance of this part for the algorithm. Mm-hmm. Amazon, as a search engine, needs to give your listing credit to thousands of keywords. Every single time there is a micro action. Mm-hmm. Now, they have to do that because they can't wait for an action to happen on every single keyword to decide how to rank it. And then it would be very inconsistent because sometimes you can get one add to cart, one click, one sale on one keyword. And that doesn't mean that 100% click-through rate, 100% conversion rate means you're the best. So they have to take all of the attributions and all of these micro actions, and they have to distribute that, and they have to create averages so that they understand how to value you versus your competition, right? Mm-hmm. And so the way that they give you credit is two ways. They're going to give you credit based on the match type of the keyword and how someone found you. So let me explain match types. You have exact match. So if someone is searching for a card shuffler, right? And I have that example I'll pull up in a second. But if someone is searching for a machine that shuffles your playing cards for you, right? So a card shuffler. And you want to rank for the keyword card deck shuffler, okay? There's a word in between card and shuffler. So this becomes a broad match, okay? Mm-hmm. Broad means it contains the words, but they are not together and in the same order. That means that you're going to get a much lower credit as a broad match than you would if they were together in a phrase match. So if someone searched for deck card shuffler, then card shuffler would be together in the same order. That would make it a phrase match. Okay, so that's why that's going to give you more credit, maybe 50% credit. And if you have a broad match, you might only get 30% credit. Now, let's say someone searches for card shufflers with an S. That is a plural match. You get a little bit less credit, but you get quite a bit, right? Because it's very close. Mm-hmm. Now, imagine that if we were to look, and I'm going to show you now.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay. Imagine if I wanted to actually sell this card shuffler here, and I took these 15 bestsellers, and I find out that there are 83 keywords with 110,000 search volume. But all of these keywords have a high relevancy, and they almost all of them have different forms of shuffler and card in them, and some of them have some misspellings you can clean up. But you have professional card shuffler, you have automatic card shuffler for one deck, you have Uno shuffler, so it's a specific type of card game. You have card shuffler for 2-deck automatic, right? So you have all of these keywords that you have different match types for, and you have different amount of search volume, and you have different amount of credit for them and relevancy. And we establish relevancy based on how many of your best-selling competitors are ranked well for that keyword. So then that can tell us pretty clearly what the relevancy is. So when I want to decide which keywords I should prioritize ranking for, I need to give each keyword a ranking juice score. So I need to understand which ones I should prioritize and why. And the way that you can do that is you can understand the broad search volume from each of the words within the keyword, and you can understand the match type and the relevancy and the search volume of them. So that's how we calculate, which keywords to prioritize when writing your listing and how to maximize your ranking potential. And I'll give you a little bit deeper example later in the presentation as well. But I think it's important that people understand why ranking is potential. Now, I told you there were 2 ways that Amazon gives you credit. The first is the direct search, how someone came in, and then how they give you credit for all those keywords. The other is how you write your listing. Let's say someone comes straight into your listing through the ASIN, through the direct link, right? Then Amazon can give you credit for the search for ranking based on how they searched. They have to now distribute all of the credit based on how you wrote your listing. Which keywords did you prioritize in your title? And where you write your keywords and how you write them, the format, so exact versus phrase versus broad, and where you put them in your listing will matter for how much credit you get in that case. And usually you get both credit. You get how you wrote it, and you get how they searched and found it, and then what action they took. And then it's the combination of those 2 things that allow you to rank ahead or below your competition based on again, the relevancy of you versus your competition. Now, there's another very important thing for relevancy. Amazon doesn't want your listing to show up on keywords that don't matter, right? So their most important thing for Amazon is a good buyer experience. They want someone, if they search for card shuffler, to find card shufflers. They don't want people to find decks of cards. They don't want people to find Uno, right? They want people to actually find card shuffling machines. Now, the way that they do this is that they weight the relevancy of your product, and they establish, the algorithm will tell the Amazon what you are selling. Now, here's where a lot of people make mistakes. They will write their listing wrong. They will target irrelevant or loosely related keywords very early, and they will try to stuff their listing with a lot of keywords that are not relevant. And Amazon's algorithm is a machine. It doesn't know any better, so it gets confused. And what ends up happening is that you will have trouble ranking for relevant keywords. Now,
Brandon, when you see to give a priority to some specific word, what do you mean? Like to use it many times in our listing, or like to use it on the title instead the description or bullet points?
So repeating a keyword isn't good. It doesn't add more ranking juice every time you use it.
Yeah.
Now, with a keyword where the main root is repeated many times, there's a reason selling a card shuffler is a high-risk product and not very good. There's 2 reasons. One is that out of 110,000 search volume combined from that entire list, you have 83 keywords, 110,000 search volume. 40,000 of that search volume, and that's before we take out the misspellings that don't count too. But 40,000 of that search volume is one keyword, right? So it is very top heavy from one keyword. So it's not a good product, and most of your competition is doing a good job ranking for a lot of those keywords, because most of them are ranking for that one main keyword too. So when you're evaluating the potential of a product, you need to understand the distribution of search volume and how many keywords you have, so that and also the number of ways people call that product. So we call that routes, right? And if I share again, I'll show you really quickly, because we also break that down for you as well. So on this, and this is DataDive, if you guys are wondering. This might be obvious, but if you click on routes, what we've done is we've taken that data set, all of those keywords, and we see which words and phrases are repeated, and then what is the broad search volume of them. Now, we need this anyway because we're using this information to also help calculate our relevancy, or our ranking juice. But it's very important that when you see that the top three here, card shuffler, basically card and shuffler, and then card shuffler is 81,000, and then the next one down below is 29,000, and then it drops off a lot. You don't see a very big distribution here. And what you want to see when you're choosing a product to minimize your risk is you want to see a very wide distribution across many different routes and of many different types of ways people are searching for a product. And the reason that we're looking for that wide range of words and routes is because we're good at finding them. And so that's our advantage. Our advantage is mining and compiling all of the keywords and finding all the keywords that drive sales for a product. So most sellers aren't good at that. 99% of sellers, 99.9% of sellers are not good at that. So what you can do is play to your strengths and play to your advantages. You can find these keywords, you can optimize your listing to rank for many different routes, and you can do a better job than them. You don't want to go sell a card shuffler if you're good at finding keywords, if you're good at doing keyword research. That's because anyone can guess that card shuffler is the best keyword and put it in their title, and you don't have an advantage, right? So what we're looking for are products that have a lot of keywords, a lot of different ways, routes and ways people are searching, and a good distribution of search volume. And then that way we can play to our advantage.
Okay, great. So can I ask another question?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so Gil Epstein asks, how good or efficient the keyword research, the search volume, the SW search volume, I believe, is doing? How much time can I using the software?
Oh, how much time can you save?
Can you save? Yeah.
Yeah. So I can tell you that to create the master keyword list that we have that I just showed you, you can do it manually, right? That one tab, the master keyword list. What you would do is you would put all of the best sellers into Cerebro and Helium 10, and you would pull them. And then this one is 15, so you would have to do 2 and then combine them. And then you would have to create the relevancy tab, and then you would have to start to clean it up. You know, it might take you an hour to do that for that search, the way that is there with putting in all the information. It takes 90 seconds with DataDive.
Great. Okay, and another question. Okay, this is something technical. Jacob says that he can't hear us, but the rest of our audience can hear us right now. Yeah. Okay, so we can continue with the presentation. Yeah.
I want to get back to relevancy because I think that Amazon SEO is really the piece that people miss, and the key, the biggest advantage is the relevancy piece. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about that as well, and how ranking works with it. So ranking is also not just those little bit of it's those averages, but it's not like once you have it, it's gone, even if you're not taking advantage of it. Remember, those credits you're getting are there even if you are, the ranking juice is here because you didn't write your listing well, but the credit is still there. So the way I like to put it, it makes it, I think, pretty clear is this. Your listing is a bank, and every single keyword is a bank account. And remember, one micro action, one add to cart, one click on your listing, one purchase, one looking at your reviews even, right? Can add credit for thousands of bank accounts, for thousands of keywords. But it's a little bit of credit, right? It's just a little bit. Now, it's all of those actions, all of that traffic you're sending to your listing through paid ads, organic, outside Amazon. All of those actions are adding more and more credit to keywords. Now, whether you can take advantage of all of that credit that's there is based on the way you wrote your listing. So maximizing your ranking potential comes down to tying in that relevancy piece and writing the right match type for that keyword. Now, that doesn't mean you might only have, I'll just make up a number, right? You might only have 50,000 credit in the bank. If you write an exact form of that keyword, you might be able to get as much as 100,000. It's overkill. You don't need to write the exact form. You might only need the broad form or the phrase match or the plural to get that. So you don't need to take every keyword and try to put exact form in your title. And this is what you need to test. This is why optimization is an iterative process. It requires you to write your listing, your title, and then rewrite it. See what the effect was on your keyword ranks, and then write it again. And so you need to understand what credit you have already in the bank across all of your keywords, and then how do I maximize what that credit is. And now remember, it's relative to your competition. Your competition on that same keyword might have 70,000 credit. And if they're maximizing their ability to take the 70,000 and you're maximizing your chance to take the 50,000, you might only be ranking number 4 or number 10 or number 15 on that keyword because your competition is ahead of you. Now, what I've seen sometimes is that maybe they're doing a better job and they have more credit, but they didn't prioritize that keyword, write it into their listing, and they're not taking advantage of the credit they have. So maybe they have 70,000, but the way they wrote their listing is only allowing them to get 20,000. So now, because you are taking advantage of taking all of your 50, you are ranked ahead of them on that keyword. So optimization, again, requires you to understand how it's relevant, relative to your competition, but also how to maximize the rank and to identify what your maximum rank is based on your current performance. Now, you can do more to add more credit for a keyword by driving more traffic, improving your click-through rate, improving your conversion rate, driving more revenue, those things, right? Those other three pieces. But for current listings, most people do not write their listing properly to maximize your potential rank based on ranking juice potential. And so it is a study. And what we do with DataDive is we allow you to write your listing many different ways and give you a score based on the data set. So I want to show that to you now too, so you can understand how Amazon SEO works, how ranking works, why relevancy is important, what ranking juice is, and then I can show you really quickly how this works with writing your listing the right way. And we have dozens of case studies from users who all they did was write their listing differently based on our data, and they saw an immediate impact to rank. And so if you come here, first thing I'm going to show you is the battle of the titles. This is where we evaluate based on this data set, your keyword ranks, and the way your competition has written their titles. These are all the titles of the competition. And then we have the match type for all of the keywords here. And then we can give them a ranking juice score based on that, based on our knowledge, basically the formula I told you earlier. Now, what I can do is I can do a better job. So I'm going to take someone that is looks like they're one of the best here, right? And I'm going to put them over here to the listing builder. And we have a listing builder here built in where I'm going to see they have 149 length. And I'm going to see what are the keywords that they're taking advantage of, which are the ones that they're not taking advantage of, and what are the routes they're not taking advantage of. So I have the exact forms, the broad forms. I see what they're doing. And if I click here, I can see what routes they're taking advantage of. Now, they are not taking advantage of 2-deck or the number 2, which seems pretty important. But I don't know if this is a 2-deck shuffler. It says it's a 6-deck shuffler. So what I might do with them is I might say, let's see here, card shuffler 2-deck up to 6-deck, right? And I'm going to add that phrase in there because I want people to know that they can also use it for a 2-deck, right? Mm-hmm. Now I've increased to 355,000 ranking potential, and I've taken advantage of all of these additional routes that they were not taking advantage of. So what's amazing is that this seller is on 99% of the search volume. They're the clear best seller, but we can still potentially improve their rank. Here on the 2-deck shuffler, they're only number 29. I think by writing the title better, we can probably improve their rank on these 2 keywords that have 2 in them, which have decent search volume. That's the power of understanding data, understanding Amazon's ranking algorithm, understanding how to use that data and how to maximize your ranking potential. And that's the power that DataDive gives you. In just a few minutes, you can figure that out.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay, so a few questions about the software. Danielle asks, is your software is an Excel-based?
That was based in Google Sheets, but our full version, we're in beta now. So it will not be in Sheets after next month. We're in closed beta. But currently, it works with Google Sheets. It populates into your own Google. So you tie in your Google account, and then it generates the sheets for you.
Okay, but basically, we already can subscribe.
You can subscribe immediately. Okay. You need Helium 10 because we pull Helium 10, Keepa, and the Google search volume. We pull
so the information most of the information taken from Helium.
Yes, we work with Helium 10 and upstream their data. So your Helium 10 account, and then we pull the data, and then we compile it for you into these sheets.
Okay. So to the next question, Gil asked if the software is static. It doesn't track keywords live, or just take snapshot of the situation and of the listing?
So it's 100% a snapshot of the current data and state. Mm-hmm. You should use something to track your keywords like Helium 10, and we work with them anyway. So you should just track your keywords there. But what we are working in our full version that releases again next month, we will show you the trends over time in a niche. So you will pull the data, and we're going to make it automatic eventually as well. We're working on that, where you can have a search like these 15 bestsellers, and then every single month it will pull a new sheet for you. And maybe more frequently, every 2 weeks or something, it will pull a new sheet. So you could see the movement of your competition. You can see the movement of your own listing as well.
Okay. The next question is really interesting. How would the software work for gated categories?
It wouldn't matter. There's no difference. It pulls the data no matter which category. As long as we have access to the data in any marketplace, which Helium 10 does, then we can present it to you.
And what about those categories, like some categories in electronics, that you can't see the main rank? You see only the subcategory rank. Do you know what I'm talking about?
So even though you don't have their sales estimates, you still have all of their keywords that they're in their ranks. What matters is what are the keywords they're ranked well for? What are the relevancy of those keywords? And then which ones are driving sales? And we can see all of that.
Okay, great. Let's see if we have another question. No, we can continue. So we have something next in the presentation, or we just finished?
We might be towards the end here. Let me see.
No, because we have 20 minutes more, and it's super interesting. So Brandon, you can take wherever you want.
Yeah, I just want to touch on 2 more things, right?
Okay.
One is, generic keywords versus relevant keywords. Okay. That's very important to understand, because in DataDive, we will show you these loosely related keywords that we call outlier keywords. And if I go back to the example, let me see if I can show you quickly, because maybe it's very important that you understand that there are sometimes very generic keywords that people drive sales from, and that's why they're getting so many sales, and you can't duplicate that easily. You need to understand what you are actually capable of doing. Now, if they are selling on gifts for dads, right? That keyword, very high search volume during certain times of the year, Father's Day and Christmas, right? And holiday season, Q4, very, very high search volume keyword. And if they're ranked number 3 for that keyword, you cannot expect to also outrank them for that keyword very easily. Usually not at all. So you need to understand relevancy for a keyword, how generic it is and how relevant it is will determine how quickly you can rank for it, whether you can rank for it, how long it takes to rank, and also the distribution of sales is much wider. When someone searches for a gift for dad, they don't know necessarily what they want, but they don't always want a card shuffler. And so the sales will be distributed amongst that first page or two very widely. And so the concentration of sales are not near the top like you would expect to find for most other products. And I will show you really how DataDive shows you this, because you want to identify how your competitors are getting sales that no one else is taking advantage of. And we call those outlier keywords. There aren't very many here for this product in particular. Sometimes you find very many. But this category right here, you see that there is one keyword here with 2,000 search volume. This one has one keyword with 2,700, right? And so if I click on this second tab here, I can see what those are. And what I'm seeing is that blackjack, right? It's a game people play with cards. Has this guy's number 11, right? So just very generic keyword, 3,000 search volume, 3,700 search volume, number 11 might not drive a lot of sales, but you need to know that, right? You need to know that that's where this guy is getting some sales, and maybe it's something you can take advantage of. Maybe it's something not, but you should look into it. Here's casino equipment. That seems a lot more relevant. It's very interesting that this guy is the only one taking advantage of it. He's number 21, right? Now, casino equipment, again, generic term. People are looking for all sorts of casino equipment. They could be looking for roulette tables, the chips, and all these things, right? But you got 21, not bad. 28 for blackjack SAP. I don't know what that is, but you got number 28. So this list is usually much longer. Some keywords are relevant, some are not. Some you can take advantage of, some you can't. But it's good to also know, how are my competitors getting their sales? Can I duplicate that success, right? And you can see the most important thing is that this guy is 99% of the search volume. He ranks in the top 3, top 5 for most keywords. And he's just doing a much better job at Amazon than all of these other sellers. And then that's why his sales are 6,900. Everyone else is, 1,500, 1,600, or under 1,000. And so we can paint the picture, and it makes sense, and we understand the niche, we understand the market, and we do all of that with data, and that's the most important thing. And that's what that's why it's called DataDive. We do all of our decisions based on data.
Okay. Somebody asked if it matters what program I have in Helium 10. Like
no, your subscription level, as long as you have access to Cerebro, I think you're okay.
Okay, great. So, and some other question that I missed here. What volume keywords would you suggest to start with?
I think relevancy is most important, but you want to start anywhere from for targeting. We're very aggressive with marketing. So seller system, like our methodology for PPC is that we push for keyword ranks. Our PPC is only two things. First is keyword ranks, organic keyword ranks. The second is profit, right? And so I wasn't planning on doing any PPC. It's like an added bonus, but we are developing many PPC tools within DataDive. I can show you one more thing. If you come over here to the listing PPC keywords title, you can import the entire list, or you can import just a root word. So that's the newest feature that we've rolled out. Give me 1 second. Let me authorize this. So you can import just one root word and all of the keywords with that root word, or you can import the entire list. What we do is we normalize the keywords so that you don't have any duplicate, because in Amazon, if you target card shuffler with an exact campaign, it will also show up for card shufflers. Okay. It's very important that you understand that Amazon will target very related keywords even in an exact campaign. It's counterintuitive. They call it exact, but it's not exact. So we eliminate that so that you don't have any issues with overlap. Then once we normalize the keywords, you can select the types of campaigns you want them to go into. And then you can come over here. You can set up some rules for your exact campaigns, your product targeting, your phrase, your broad. We automatically put some negatives in these so that you don't overlap as well. And then you can hit generate my campaigns. And within a couple clicks, you can launch hundreds of PPC campaigns. What we're trying to do when we do our launch and what we should target, you should write your listing to maximize the relevancy and maximize your ranking juice and make sure that they are relevant keywords. That's the most important thing. So when you're writing your listing, you should be working down this list with search volume and ranking juice and making sure that you're maximizing this score here when you first start. Now, for targeting for keywords, you probably want to just go down your list for high relevancy. You might go all the way down to like a 4 or a 5 relevancy. You're going to take out some of these keywords that are not relevant, and you would probably launch all of these as exact campaigns just to establish high relevancy for Amazon. Remember, we don't want to confuse the algorithm. So starting when you launch, you want to launch high relevancy all the way down and go very wide with your keywords. Make sure you're representing all of your roots as well.
Interesting. Okay, so to the next question, Gil asks, what can he do with the software if one of the main keywords in the niche is forbidden keyword, which can't been written in the headline or in the listing?
Yeah, you would need to get indexed for that keyword in a different way. Maybe someone asks a question on your listing. Maybe someone leaves a review with that keyword in it, and you answer. They ask the question and you answer. Those are two ways to get it built into your listing. Targeting it with PPC then also gives you the juice you need to potentially rank for it. But I would probably remove it from the master keyword list. There's a tab to exclude a phrase. You exclude it, and then you write your listing without it. And then you get another way to get credit for it. You maximize everything else you can focus on.
Great. Okay. So now, after we understood that it's super useful and genius software that each of us need, if you sell on Amazon, can you tell us about the prices, about the subscriptions, about?
Yeah, so for sure. And I appreciate that. So let me, I have something I did for you guys that we work together on. We have the Inner Circle Mastermind and we have DataDive. If you just subscribe to DataDive, normally it's $150 per month. If you use the code nonstop, it will you get 2 free weeks, plus it's $50 off per month. Okay.
Okay. So we have trial for 2 weeks.
I give you 2 free weeks with nonstop.
With all the features open.
All the features opened. I want you guys, your entire community, to try it, use it, love it. You'll see the value, and hopefully you don't get rid of it. And then,
really appreciate it.
If you join my course, you will get $1,000 off the Inner Circle for the first year. So instead of $3,000 for the first year and then $1,000 per year after that, it will be $2,000 for the first year.
Can you tell us a bit about your course?
Yeah. So the Inner Circle is a community. It's a mastermind with 1,000 sellers. We have over 300. We have weekly live Ask Me Anything calls where you can ask questions. We have a post-launch call, a pre-launch call, and then we have a lot of additional content that we've recorded and that we're constantly recording. So we have probably close to 100 hours of content in the course as well, and it's a great, very tight-knit mastermind and community. We also pair you with other sellers. We have a lot of accountability, and it's all about sharing and abundance mentality. So it's a very good course in Mastermind. And if you're a member of the Inner Circle, you only pay $50 per month for DataDive. So it actually saves you $100. So again, if you use code nonstop, you would save $1,000, plus you would save $100 off per month for DataDive.
Great. So tomorrow we'll post everything with the promotional code, so people can use it. And we really appreciate the benefits that you gave to our group.
And I'm happy to work with you guys. It's a wonderful community that you've built there, and I appreciate you. I really appreciate you having me on to talk about, how it works, why we built it. Right. I think it's most important that you understand that we spent a lot of time launching a lot of products, doing a lot of research, learning how everything works on Amazon, and then we built the software to help you maximize your potential on Amazon.
Thank you. So let's talk a bit about tomorrow. I see that Nir wrote on the chat that tomorrow we're going to talk about the PPC.
I guess we will talk a little bit more for PPC tomorrow. Nir, I have an open agenda with Nir tomorrow. We are going to basically just do an Ask Me Anything, and I think be very, very open. Whatever Nir wants to talk about, we can talk about.
Great. So for those people in our audience that don't know what's going to happen tomorrow in Nir's club, like every week, almost every week, in 9 p.m. in Zoom, you will broadcast again, but it's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be its presentation and like one-way connection. It's going to be like a more open room. Everybody can ask questions about anything. I want to say anything, but related subjects to what you are doing. So I believe that we see you again, guys, in 24 hours. And we got enough information for tonight. I want to thank you again for cleaning your schedule, for coming here. I know that you're broadcasting from far away and you're a really busy person. Actually, it was super interesting. I didn't prepare my homework. I didn't know what we're going to talk about. And it's super interesting. And, it was so clear and interesting. So I confused now. So I want to study more and more and more. And I believe I see you guys and you tomorrow again. And it was wonderful.
Thank you for having me. Great to see everybody. I can't see everybody, but I'll see everyone tomorrow. And thank you so much for having me.
Great. Brandon, you stay in our group so people can ask you questions. And time to time you can post.
I'm there. You can tag me anytime.
Great, Brandon. So, guys, have a great night. We see you
I'll
next
see you tomorrow,
week.
Nir. Take care. Good to see you. Thank you so much for having me, Go.
Great. Okay,
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.